last year scared away tourists and their money. Egypt introduced capital controls to keep the dollars in country, but it discouraged foreign investors. The black market thrived while dollars dried up and inflation rose.
I think that a fundamental problem is that the government has long mistaken transparency for a liberal luxury when in fact it's a necessity. The reality is the worst is not over. The population is going to get hit by very hard inflation, and the government should be explaining in very clear detail how they plan to deal with that.
Egypt needed a change. The central bank has floated the currency and loosened capital controls, hoping to woo back investors. But in just one night, the Egyptian pound lost half its value against the dollar. Friday, the IMF granted Egypt a $12 billion loan over 3 years. The goal? To stabilize and restructure the economy.
The average Egyptian made the equivalent of roughly $140 a month before the difficult but necessary devaluation. Now it's about $70, putting them barely above the poverty line.
A move that angered many. But Egypt's prime minister vowed everyday essentials wouldn't disappear. The government released a TV ad urging patience, saying bold reforms will shorten the way. But patience is in short supply for Egyptians at the market, struggling day by day. Even a shortened way can seem too long.
And Becky, when you look at the Egyptian economy and you talk to economists and businessmen, the one thing they say is the anchor that is holding it back is the bureaucracy. If you look at where you're at in Abu Dhabi, the Emirates has grown leaps and bounds over the past decades, and Egypt really needs to cut the red tape if they're going to take advantage of the areas where they can grow and really get this economy back on track. That is something that the IMF has been talking about. It's something the Egyptian government has been talking about. But really, that's what is going to be crucial to see Egypt recover. Becky.
Yeah, very good point. All right, Ian, thank you for that. Ian Lee is in Cairo for you. More now on one of our top stories this hour, the Trump transition. The U.S. president-elect has just weeks to put together a team tasked with leading the country going forward. And amid reports of political infighting within his camp, Donald Trump now making a bold move. Sunlan Safati explains.
President-elect Donald Trump's transition team now moving to uphold this campaign promise.
We are going to drain the swamp.
Unveiling a new lobbying ban, requiring anyone under consideration for a job in the Trump administration to sign a written pledge to terminate their lobbying. And when they leave office, they will be banned from being a lobbyist for 5 years.
When we talk about draining the swamp, this is one of the first steps.
But as they make headway on some aspects of the transition, other parts are still slow moving. Trump's team has not yet contacted the Pentagon, State Department, or other federal agencies to inform them about the transition, with major Washington agencies saying they're still left in the dark. But Trump's team says they're moving forward on this today, readying to announce their so-called landing teams made up of transition staff that will deploy and interact with the Department of Justice, State Defense, and National Security, with other agencies to follow.
I think we've made tremendous progress in giving the president-elect some ideas about how to move forward with his core team and potential members of his cabinet.
Today in Trump Tower, a flurry of meetings lined up for the president-elect, including South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, a former Trump detractor.
That's not who we want as president.
Now under consideration for Secretary of State. Meantime, new reports suggest that Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump's husband, could likely end up with top national security clearance and become a key advisor to Trump. Trump's team rejecting concerns over nepotism and a potential conflict of interest.
Jared's obviously been a very important part of this campaign, and he's someone that the president-elect trusts very much. What that role is, like anyone else, is going to be up to the president-elect.
The transition team continuing to dispute reports of internal disarray and infighting.